Okay, good morning or good afternoon. As you know, I'm Michael Carroll, and today I'm going to talk about what is corpus linguistics and how can corpora be useful to teachers. I'm not very experienced with making these kinds of movies, so please bear with me if it's a little rough to begin with. Okay. Think about these two sentences. Who did Serena Williams face in the final? And whom did Serena Williams face in the final? Now, lots of people have very strong opinions about who and whom. Which one do you think is right? Young people are bored of politics, says UK Minister. So what about here? Is bored of correct? Or should it be bored with? Just keep these questions in mind because we're going to come back to them shortly. And the third one, access is a noun, not a verb. Now, many people say this, and so the sentence, can I access your website, is wrong. Is that correct or not? So this is what I'm going to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about what is a corpus and how can we use it. Then I'm going to talk about a little bit about the theory of language. And then finally, we're going to look at some examples of using a corpus. So what is a corpus? Well, it's just a large collection of texts in a language. There are corpora in English, in Japanese, in Chinese, in Spanish, in Polish, in many, many languages. Now, what makes a corpus so powerful is that if we collect enough of these texts and put them online, then we can search really, really massive amounts of text, and we can find patterns in language. Usually we recognize these patterns. They're not a surprise to us, but sometimes we find patterns that are surprising, that we didn't know existed. This is an example of the corpora, the corpus webpage that we're going to use. It's called English Corpora. It's made by a researcher in Salt Lake City in the United States. And it's a collection of many of the biggest corpora in the world. So you can see at the top there, there's a thing called iWeb, the intelligent web-based corpus. There's news on the web. And those two have 14 billion and 7 billion words. They are really enormous. Those are constantly growing as well because they constantly retrieve data from all over the World Wide Web. If we go down a bit lower, we'll see there's a corpus of contemporary American English. It's called COCA, and that's maybe one of the most useful corpuses. I'll explain later about what's the difference between these kind of corpuses, but that one, the Corpus of Contemporary American English, COCA, and another one which is right at the bottom there, the BNC, are two of the most useful, particularly in relation to my subject, which is language learning.